What's up, everybody? We just got finished watching episode 4, which was called Attitude. Um,
So
we,
obviously it explains everything. It was the Attitude Era, and
hmm yeah, and they was putting like bits and pieces of like how it actually started, and it was still going. And as I was saying, when I got when you in that time frame and the Attitude Era is like you want more, and especially when they were saying like you have teenage kids, watching it and liking it, and I was one of them. That was like, wow, this is awesome. This is good.
but
Stress.
then if you think about it, would I have let Robert watch it as a kid? When he started watching wrestling, and probably not, because there's a lot of it to me that is wildly inappropriate now. But as it said at the time, we had Girls Gone Wild, we had Jerry Springer in its prime.
Mm-hmm.
We had all of that going on, so it fit in with the time period.
Right, and like I was saying, it was the '90s, and just a lot of things, exploited and stuff like that, and like it was just one of those things for me. Like when I was like watching, Monday Night Raw, and it came to like that edgy is like in a way it was a stress reliever. I get to watch it like every Monday, and it was it was just good. Escape from reality for at least 2 hours. Then the rest of the time just like back to reality, or like after school you do like an after school activity, or you have to work or something like that. Because like around like the Attitude Era, I've been having jobs, and there was like certain times like I couldn't, wasn't like much into TV because like I was working, and next day I had to go to school and all that other stuff. So a lot of things was happening like back then that was either difficult in light and stuff like that, but it was television really for people was like an escape. And that's kind of how WWE was. So they was more focused on talk about the Attitude Era than talk about the downfall of WCW and stuff like that, which they probably will get to in the next episode, but who knows. Um, but yeah, I guess like if they was doing this stuff now, and this was Hazel, just pointed out, was she let her son watch it. I think the thing is like if they're gonna watch something, explain it to them that is some of the things you see like is
Right, but
actually
what I'm on about is like the sexual side of it. I wouldn't be comfortable in today's age with Robert seeing that as a child. That's what I'm saying. Back then, if Robert was a little kid watching it during the Attitude Era, during the 90s, I probably wouldn't bat an eyelid because of what I just said. It was the same time as Girls Gone
right.
Wild. It was the same time as Jerry Springer. It was the same time as all of these other like daytime TV shows that were wild and out there. That's what the time period was at the time. I wouldn't let him watch it now. If that was how WWE was now and Robert was a 7, 8 year old, no, he wouldn't be watching that. It was the time period it was for. The fact of it is now, and especially with what has come out about Vince McMahon, look at it through the eyes of what he has done to women.
Right.
And what he was doing then. He was doing it so he could get away with groping, kissing, fondling, doing some of his sexual preferences on TV for people.
Yeah.
And saying it's entertainment. He could get away with it in front of his wife.
Yeah.
And if you think about it now, go to what was going on backstage. If that was going on in the ring, and people have come forward, like lots of women have come forward. The text messages have proven it. The emails have proven it. Of the shit he was doing behind the scenes. That's why right now I can't look at the Attitude Era with the sexualization and the over sexualization of women and look at it as being entertainment. I can't do that now. Maybe if none of these allegations would have come out, I might have thought differently. But it was always very uncomfortable to me. And I think part of that is because of during that time what I was going through with my ex. You know, it's a different thing when you are a woman watching that compared to when you're a man watching that. As they said, they were aiming at 18 to 34-year-old men.
Yeah.
What do 18 to 34-year-old men want? Beautiful women. Big titties. Booties. Skimpy underwear. All of that lot. So it was catered to that audience. That's why I'm saying, you know, and Vince, with what has come out over the years of what he has done, makes that even more disgusting to me. Did it fit in the time frame? Yes, it did. But I was never comfortable with Girls Gone Wild. I was never comfortable with some of the Jerry Springer show episodes where it was really over sexualization. I've never been comfortable with that. And that's my right to feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your right to like it. We don't have to agree. But it fit for the time frame. For right now, when you look at it, it is horrible. It is really, really horrible. And a lot of it plays into what, you know, some of these women have said, where they were doing things they didn't feel comfortable with doing, but they had to put food on their table. They had to do something to make money. They were then under contract. Because as we know, Vince then had his contract sorted out. You know, they were then under contract.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, for its time, it worked. But no, Robert would not be watching it if he was out.
Right, and it is another thing that I was kind of saying for like years, and I kind of pointed out, you know, because you're right, it wouldn't work now.
No.
And I think the sad thing is, because there's people that still out there today talk about, bring that back, bring that back, bring that back.
I think what they mean when they say bring that back isn't necessarily the sexualization side of it, because a lot of people who are 18, like say teens and early 20s, then have grown up in the sense that they've, you know, they're fathers themselves, some of them. They're like, yeah, no, I want that, you know, my daughters aren't going to be, that. No, you know what I mean. What I think people say when they want to bring back the Attitude Era is not having matches stop because someone got a cut, like they did with Batista.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, that whole match got stopped to dab off some blood off of him, and you could see he's like, as any wrestler will tell you, you get into a flow.
Mm-hmm.
You get into a flow, let it go. If it's a really bad, fair enough, just ask them, are they okay? We know referees have the X sign that they throw up if there's an issue that needs attention right away. And I think that's what people, when they want the Attitude Era back, that's part of what they want back, where, you know, matches weren't stopped because there's a bit of blood. You know, where you've got a mosquito buzzing around you. Where, you know, you pushed it a little bit. I'm not saying you got to push it all the way over the edge, but where you go right to the line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got to a point where it was like, it was all flowers and sunshines and butterflies, you know, and that then was wrong. It was, you know, it was, you have to find a medium, and I think we're slowly getting to that point with wrestling. And we've seen some phenomenal matches where sadly blood has spilled.
Mm-hmm.
But they've kept it going, and you've seen them checking, are you okay? Yeah, okay, we're good. You know, and I think that's what people want, is they don't necessarily want the full-blown Attitude Era. They just want that PG bit taken away.
Yeah, but yeah, that would be like half the people would want that. Then you have the other half, it's like they wanted all of that. And what some people that want all of that fail to realize that it's costing them money, for one thing, and you know, sponsorships and stuff like that were, you know, taken away. So I did like explain this to some people that, you know, they can't go back to that. They can, maybe, you know, they can change some things, but they can not go to that.
Well,
But
my thing is like, it's not going, back to it because, as we said, that's not going to work. But it's taking some of the pieces that worked well in it, and some of the pieces that work well in it. And this is perhaps maybe if I explain it better, we want wrestlers like Stone Cold,
mm-hmm,
who didn't give a shit, basically.
mm-hmm,
We wanted wrestlers like The Rock. We wanted the matchups between wrestlers like The Rock and Stone Cold. We wanted those feuds. We want the wrestling that was hardcore without it being disgusting and all that lot. We miss that. I think what it is we miss the actual proper rivalries that came with it.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
rivalries that made sense. The belts being, and this is the thing that we've spoken about, the belts when they were held by someone being defended regularly, not once every few months and
right,
everything. That's what we want to go back to. We want that. And if somebody's going to hold a belt for 3 years, let them hold the belt for 3 years, but make them work for it.
right,
We're not saying every match has to be a clean, superfied match,
right,
because that's where you get the storyline if somebody's screwed over a win and all this lot. But you don't want every match being interfered, and you don't want every match being held once every 3 months at a major pay-per-view.
yeah. That's what probably part of the thing that I was saying. Like Vince was like out of touch, especially with the Roman Reigns holding the belt for this amount of time so they can beat a certain record and
And that was fine, but they never made any of his matches to a point where they were believable, if that makes sense.
or there was, like you said, no interference, or he beat him clean or something like that.
Right.
And it's like there were fans that was really like myself was getting like sick and tired of that.
Yeah.
And it's like we don't hate the person because we know like what's behind the scenes and stuff like that. But it was just like, okay, it's time to lose the title. Maybe like after 2 years of holding it.
Well, and we saw a couple of things that we knew right as soon as we saw it happen that we're gonna be like, okay, he ain't giving up this title anytime soon.
Right.
And one of those was that match where he couldn't get out the handcuffs,
Oh yeah,
and so they stopped counting.
yeah,
And then right then we were like, we're done.
mm-hmm.
But I'm saying is what I think people mean when they say they want to go back to the Attitude Era, is they want the matchups like with Stone Cold, having a Stone Cold type wrestler there, having a Rock type wrestler there, and we've slowly started to get that. We slowly started to bring back the factions,
Mm-hmm.
and that was good because you get some incredible tag matches, but you also get some incredible individual matches. And let's be honest, when you've got tag teams and groups out there like Judgment Day and all that lot, it works. And yeah, we've now got a little split off between Judgment Day. But then that brings up another feud and another, thing, and that's what we're looking for, and that's what needs to continue to happen. But this showed us, all the things that could go wrong that went wrong,
Mm-hmm.
including Owen's death.
Right, which is a big one, and he was like one of the guys I was hoping that would hold the big one.
Right. And I can understand also where Brett said it felt like they were making a fool out of Owen just to piss him off. And because he was in his feelings at the time about WWE and Vince, he felt like everything that they did to Owen was an attack on him. But he said as soon as it came down, look, nobody was at fault. It was a genuine accident. He was like, okay, I can forgive him. Now, did Owen Hart's wife forgive WWE? No, she never has.
And seems like she never
And
will.
I don't think she ever will. But this is the other thing, and as much as I agree Owen needs to be in WWE Hall of Fame, the one thing that we don't know, what the hell did WWE and Vince McMahon and the officials say to her behind the scenes that we never heard?
Ooh, that's a good point. That is a good point.
Seriously, what didn't we hear? because a lot of times those contracts where a payment is made, which it was confirmed that she received a payoff from WWE in regards to his death, a lot of times there's a non-disclosure.
Right.
Now, nobody on either side has spoken out about it.
Yeah, that is true.
So what was said that Vince wanted kept hush hush, because I understand you being very angry at the company that caused the death of your husband. Because don't get me wrong, say you were a wrestler and that happened to you.
Right.
Oh, you know I'm going after him. But I would also then want you to be in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
As an honor. So what was said?
Yeah, because something, like you said, something has had to been said for her not
to. There's more
to
to the story than we're hearing. There really is. And will we eventually hear? Yeah, I think eventually we will. Because a lot of times those non-disclosure agreements have a timeline.
Right.
So maybe there'll come a point where she does say, okay, or her kids will say, this is what happened behind the scenes. And it's the fact that everybody's been silent about it. There's never been a rumor.
Right.
Nothing. So that's a really, a solid NDA right there. But we don't know what was said to her. We don't know how she was treated afterwards.
Right.
And that is... And the fact that Bret Hart and the rest of the Hart family, they do want him in... And they've said this is the only thing they've ever really said publicly. They do want him in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
But they understand where she is coming from. Which tells me they know what was said.
Right.
They know how she was treated.
Yeah, exactly. So...
And it makes me wonder as well, like, obviously the footage of that accident needs to be gone. Gone. But did she have to fight for that to be gone, or did WWE off their own bat pull it? There's something that we're not privy to, and we may never be privy to, that has caused this to be even more hostile than what it is. And as I say, we weren't there. We're never probably never will find out.
No, yeah, that's true. But hopefully we will. Before our lifetime, maybe something will come out. But if it takes like a while, so more people can understand, we'll see. But that's the only thing I would want. I'm not saying for her to forgive, Vince McMahon or WWE or whatever
but
like that.
Let the fans have their day with him.
Exactly.
Honor him one more time. And the fact that Vince is no longer a part of WWE, take that. Do you know what I mean? Take that as a sign that let him be in there.
Exactly, because a lot of people, like the people that producers and stuff like that knows him probably would want him in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And I know Mike's get really upset with this, but AEW hosting the Owen Hart tournament just to honor him. But I know he's sick of it because he was never in AEW and it didn't exist.
Right, but I agree to a certain degree. But you've also got to remember there's a lot of people within that organization who work for him who were there with him.
Yeah, that's true.
His friends who saw what happened. And I think that right now this is the closest that she will ever get to letting us honor him.
Right. That's true. But I just hope one day he does get in the Hall of Fame and all that. But just mainly what this episode was just mostly about, what we were saying, what went right with the Attitude Era at that time period and what went wrong. And like the Owen Hart death was one of the things that, that went wrong. And I can't wait to see episode 5 and go from there. So 2 more episodes left. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, some of y'all that already seen it, share your thoughts about it and what's your opinion about it. Just please comment below. If you like more content like this, please like and subscribe. and sponsored by, once again, the Toy Dimension. More information about that, and also the upcoming event of Wave of Light. That's October 15th. You can go to maddiesmary.
Org.
Okay, maddiesmary.org.
It's actually .com and .org. You
Oh.
can go to both.
Either one.
Domains.
Oh, okay. So yeah, now y'all know that, and also more information, about sponsorships and stuff like that, are on their website too, and also on our website, wrestlingfanspeakout.weebly.com. So get a chance to check that out, and plus, it shows upcoming events in wrestling, other videos and other things that we do and talk about. So check that out. Once again, thank you guys for watching. Until the next video, y'all have a good one.